So today our pottery's back at Mesa Grande drying, and we're out here looking at ruins in Arizona while the pottery dries. So we're here at Beshpagawa now, and then we're going up to Tonto Cliff Dwellings after that. And then tomorrow, first thing in the morning, we'll be firing our pottery. This is the entrance to Beshpagawa, so the only way into the ruin, or the Pueblo, was through this long corridor, which would have been closed at the time. It wasn't built in a defensive location, but it was built in a defensive manner. This was lived in the 1300s, so think about it like a castle in Europe that was built defensively. There was somebody around that they didn't want in here. This is the main courtyard of the Pueblo. This is where daily activities would have taken place, like cooking, crafts, pottery making, basketry. This large building over here is actually a reconstruction. This isn't original. The foundation's original, but they reconstructed it so people can see what it was like. So here they have a great collection of pottery. You can look at some of the display cases. Not just Salado Polychromes, but also some imported wares from other places. This one's great. It's got a turtle. These are parrots in this one. This one has maybe a flying bird. Some have said fish. These white pots were imported from above the Mogollon Rim. These are Salado Polychromes. Here's a nice collection of Salado in this. We've got some smudged ware bowls, which were probably everyday eating bowls. Lots and lots of smudged ware. We've got the culinary shoe pots, which were our late cooking technology. And then all these little mugs with the handles. Look at how many. And these pitchers, these redware pitchers. Okay, we're out here at Tonto National Monument now. We're going to hike up to the cliff dwelling, which is, I think, back in here. See if you can see it. Wildflowers are going berserk out here. So it's a nice day. I'll show you the ruins.
Everything's fine. Wouldn't expect any more from this. The situation's in line with every story that I heard of the burning bliss, and I wait, trying to appreciate, and I wait, trying to evaluate. Was it something that I did? Was it something that I couldn't quite handle right? An invitation to a thrill, a growing comfort that somehow it...
This is the last day of my pottery workshop at Mesa Grande in Mesa, Arizona. So we've been making pottery for the last 4 days, and today we're firing it. So let me show you what we got here. Here at Mesa Grande, they have a little museum. You can see there's a number of artifacts in here. Some nice illustrations showing what it would have looked like in prehistoric times. They've got some pots. We just put tables in here because it was raining most of the week, and we just did our pottery inside, but usually we do it out on the patio here. Let me show you the mound. So this hill behind me is actually not a natural hill. This is man-made. So back in the 1300s maybe, they actually built walls, adobe walls, and then filled them in with earth and debris to build up this terraced platform mound. Took a tremendous amount of human labor. So here I am on top of the mound. You can see that even after 700 years of erosion, it's still pretty impressive height. So I don't know, maybe height of a 2-story building. At least at that time, at least I would say 2 stories, because the buildings were shorter, the people were shorter. So a lot of labor to move all this earth here. And so there was a huge village around this, and we can still find a lot of artifacts in the area, little bits of pottery and flakes of stone, different things. They've been excavating here the last few years. You can see some of the results of their excavating in different places, and they've learned a lot. I think they're kind of done with their excavations now. Now, if we look down the hill, you can see the museum, and you can see at the end of the parking lot where my group is gathered, and that's where we're going to be firing the pottery. We'll head down there and look at the pottery firing. Here's Miles. He's doing some last minute painting on his pottery. Gonna do some polishing at the last second there. You always wait till the last second to do your polishing, Miles?
Well, when I don't seem to have the paint. Yeah.
It makes a big difference having the paint with you?
Yeah, so we make do, and I'm going to see if I can get this to polish up and have it dry in time to fire and not have it crack.
I'm sure you'll be fine. So here's the firing. You can see I have a whole bunch of wood collected. Because it rained all week, I actually went and bought some wood as well, and you can see that in the plastic bags over there. And here's the pottery. This is the primary fire. We're just preheating the pottery and building up a bed of coals. We've got some really nice pots in there. And there's the group of students sitting around waiting for their pottery.
Trying to appreciate, and I wait, wanting to come.
All right, so I ended up doing 2 different firings because we had such a bunch of pottery to fire. So these are pots that came out of the first fire. There's several of them here, and they all came out okay. The wood was all fairly damp, and so we were struggling against that, and the fire burned kind of slow, kind of unevenly, which wasn't great. Got a little ram somebody made. That's nice. So hopefully on the second fire we're doing a little better because we had a much hotter bed of coals to start with. So if you look here, here's the second fire, and it's really in that oxidation phase now. This wood's all burning down to coals, and they're sitting on top of the pottery. I think we got pretty decent fire there. Everything's pretty hot, and it looks like it's cleaned up pretty good, so we'll be pulling those away in a little bit.
Everything's fine. Wouldn't expect any more from this. The situation's in line with every story that I heard of the burning bliss, and I wait, trying to appreciate, and I wait, trying to evaluate. Was it something that I did? Was it something that I couldn't quite handle right? An invitation to a thrill, a growing comfort that somehow it will be alright. And I wait, trying to appreciate, and I wait, wanting to accommodate.
So that's it for my March 2020 Pottery Workshop. 5-day workshop, 3 days of making pottery, 1 day to let it dry while we went and toured some ancient ruins, and then fired on the 5th day. We had some problems. We had a lot of rain and high humidity, like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which made it really hard to get the pots done in time. We had pots that were still wet. Even this morning when we fired, there were still some that were slightly damp. When we went to paint on Friday, a lot of them were really, really wet, and it made it hard to put on that organic paint because instead of the moisture absorbing into the surface of the pot, it just sat there and it kind of wanted to run around. So we had some problems, but overall, nature gave us lemons and we made lemonade. There was a lot of really great pottery that came out of there. All the students seemed really happy with how things turned out, so that's good. It was right in the middle of the coronavirus thing, so people were freaking out and buying all the toilet paper from the stores and closing down schools and all this stuff right in the middle of the workshop, which made it kind of crazy too. I had students who flew in from out of state who are flying out tomorrow. So, it's kind of a crazy workshop, but overall, I mean, as long as nobody gets sick, I guess, it was a successful workshop, as you can see from the pots. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know you like it so I can make more like this. Please check me out on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel so you can know when the next videos come out. If you're interested in my pottery workshops, subscribe to my newsletter. Link is in the description so that you'll know when future workshops are coming up. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.